listening to Check 6 Radio. I'm your host, Dennis Tresca. Whether you're a grunt making your commute, a sailor on the night shift, or an airman just trying to figure out what to do with your weekend, I'm glad you're here. We are proudly part of the Rad Dad Network, a community built on connection, camaraderie, and making sure nobody flies solo in the next chapter of life. And as a co-founder of this network, I am legally obligated to start this sortie with a dad joke. It's in the bylaws. I checked. And so here we go. Why do scuba divers fall backwards out of the boat? Because if they fell forward, they'd still be in the boat. You're welcome. Let's get tactical. Before we jump into today's briefing, I want to establish our lanes. A lot of you know me from my day job as a veteran coach for Just for Veterans Enterprise, or J4VE. Over there, my mission is providing disability benefits education services. I help veterans understand the claims process and get the VA rating they deserved. I help veterans understand the claims process and get the rating they've earned. But Check 6 Radio is a different mission. This show is about life after service. Once you have the baseline secured, what do you do next? How do you tackle business, community, and education in the civilian sector? That's what we do here. We are your signals intelligence for the civilian world. Last episode, your homework was to secure your digital perimeter by logging into VA.gov, setting up your ID.me, and getting your DD-214 and benefit verification letter saved to your phone, to your hard drive, or wherever you save your very, very important documents. If you haven't done that yet, pause this, embrace the suck, and go do it now. I'll wait. All right. Today we are tackling the most misunderstood, underutilized, and stereotyped benefit in military history. Okay, that might be exaggeration. But we're going to be talking about the GI Bill. When I say GI Bill, what is the first image that pops in your head? For 90% of you, I'm guessing it's a 19-year-old kid sitting in a cramped lecture hall listening to a professor drone on about macroeconomics while trying to figure out how to fit in with college freshmen who think a tough day is when the dining hall runs out of oat milk. If that's your path, fantastic. Getting a 4-year degree is a great mission, but for a lot of veterans, the idea of sitting at a desk for 4 years sounds about as appealing as eating the veggie omelet MRE. You're used to turning wrenches in the motor pool, running cables, breaching doors, or standing watch. You want to work with your hands. You want to be out in the world. And because you don't want to go to a traditional college, you let your GI Bill sit in a drawer gathering dust until it expires, or you just forget about it entirely. Let me give you the bottom line up front. If you think the GI Bill is just for a university classroom, you're leaving thousands, and I mean tens of thousands of dollars on the table. Today, we're looking at the GI Bill as a career multi-tool. We're going to talk about apprenticeships, on-the-job training, flight schools, diving schools, and certifications. Let's start with the biggest hidden gem in the VA system, on-the-job training, or OJT, and apprenticeships. Once you get out of the military, you often have to start at the bottom of the civilian ladder. You might be a seasoned NCO, but if you want to become a union electrician, a plumber, an HVAC tech, or a police officer, you are starting as an apprentice or a rookie. That usually means taking a massive pay cut while you learn the ropes. This is where the post-9/11 GI Bill comes in and completely changes the game. The government will actually pay you a monthly housing allowance, your BAH, while you're out working your full-time apprenticeship. You get your paycheck from your employer, and you get a tax-free housing allowance from the VA. Here's exactly how we break it down. During your first 6 months of training, the VA pays you 100% of the applicable monthly housing allowance for your employer's zip code. For the second 6 months, you get 80%. For the third 6 months, 60%. And for the remainder of your training, you get 40%. Why does it step down like that? Because as you gain experience in your trade, your employer is supposed to be giving you raises. The VA is artificially inflating your starting salary so you can afford to support your family while you learn a new trade. It's not perfect, but it's free money. This doesn't just apply to construction trades either. This applies to fire departments, police academies, EMT services, and manufacturing plants. There are literally thousands of employees registered with the VA for this exact program. A great resource to look into for this is an organization called Helmets to Hardhats. They are a nonprofit that specifically connects transitioning active duty military, veterans, and National Guard and Reserve members with skilled training and quality career opportunities in the construction industry. The training is usually conducted by trade unions, and it is almost always GI Bill approved. Another incredible program is VIP, or the Veterans in Piping Program. If you want to be a welder, a pipe fitter, or an HVAC service tech, they provide accelerated training, and it seamlessly integrates with your benefits. Okay, so maybe you don't want to pull wire or weld pipes. Maybe you're an adrenaline junkie. Let's talk about flight school and diving school. Let's hit the skies first. You can use your GI Bill to become a commercial pilot. Now, listen closely, because this is where veterans get tripped up by the fine print, and I want to save you the headache. Under the standard GI Bill rules, the VA will not pay for your private pilot license. If you just walk down to your local airfield and hire a guy named Bob to teach you how to fly a Cessna. To use your benefits for standard vocational flight schools, known as Part 141 schools, you generally must already have your private pilot license and a valid medical certificate. Once you have that, the VA will pay for your instrument rating, commercial pilot license, multi-engine rating, and flight instructor certs. This is huge. However, there is a massive tactical workaround. If you enroll in an aviation degree program at a public college or university, meaning you are getting a bachelor's degree in aviation or aeronautics, the GI Bill will pay for your flight training from day one. This includes your private pilot license because it's considered a mandatory part of your degree curriculum. If you want to fly for the airlines, cargo companies, or even do agricultural flying, your military benefits can cover the tens of thousands of dollars it costs to get those hours in the logbook. Now, what if you prefer being underwater? The GI Bill covers commercial diving school. I'm talking about deep sea diving, underwater welding, hyperbaric operations, and offshore oil rig maintenance. These are highly specialized, very dangerous, and incredibly lucrative jobs. Programs like the National University Polytechnic Institute or the Ocean Corporation are fully approved to take your GI Bill. They will pay your tuition to learn how to weld underwater, and they will pay you a housing allowance while you do it. Okay, let's pivot to another area, certifications. Let's say you already have a job, but you need a specific license to get promoted. Maybe you need your Project Management Professional PMP certification. Maybe you're an IT guy and you need your CompTIA Sec Plus, Security Plus, your Cisco certs, or your Certified Ethical Hacker credential. The VA will reimburse you for the cost of the tests. You don't have to burn months of your GI Bill to sit in a classroom if you already know the material. You can just challenge the test, pay the fee, which can be anywhere from $300 to $1,000, sometimes even more depending on the cert, and the VA will cut you a check to reimburse you. And we can't talk about trades without talking about logistics. If you spent your enlistment driving a 7-ton or navigating heavy equipment, you can use your GI Bill to get your commercial driver's license. Countless trucking schools are VA approved. You go to school for a few weeks, the VA covers the tuition, you get your Class A CDL, and you immediately walk into an industry that is begging for disciplined drivers. All right, that's a lot of intel. Let's synthesize this into an actionable mission plan. How do you actually find these programs and get the money flowing? Remember episode 1 where I made you log into VA.gov? This is why. You need to go to VA.gov, click on Education and Training, and apply for your GI Bill benefits. Within about 30 days, the VA will mail you and email you a certificate of eligibility. This document proves exactly how many months of benefits you have and at what percentage. You cannot start any of these programs without this piece of paper. It is your golden ticket. This is the most important acronym I'm going to give you today. WEAMS, UEAMS. It stands for the Web-Enabled Approved Management System. It is the VA's official search engine for approved schools and employers. If you want to know if the local police academy, electrical union, or flight school accepts the GI Bill, you look them up in WEAMS. I'm going to put the direct link in the database in the show notes. Don't take a recruiter's word for it. Verify it in WEAMS. Every single institution that accepts a GI Bill, whether it's Harvard University or the local plumbers union, has an SCO. That stands for School Certifying Official. This is the person whose actual job it is to act as a liaison between you, the school, and the VA. They are the ones who submit your paperwork to ensure you get paid. Find out who this person is, introduce yourself, and treat them with the same respect you treat your first sergeant. They hold the keys to your BAH. The civilian world does not hand you anything on a silver platter. There is no training NCO making sure your boxes are checked. You have to take point on your own transition. Your benefits are not a handout. They are a paycheck. Your benefits are not a handout. They are a paycheck you earn in advance through blood, sweat, and missed holidays. Don't let them expire just because a traditional college route doesn't fit your personal mission. Get out there, learn a trade, learn to fly, or get that certification. In our next episode, we are bringing in some outside intel. We're going to have our first expert interview, talk specifically about translating military leadership, going from the NCOIC to the C-suite. You don't want to miss it. If you got value out of today's briefing, do me a favor. Share this episode with one veteran in your contacts who needs to hear it. Hit that subscribe button so the algorithm knows to keep pushing this to the guys and girls who are currently navigating that sea of goodwill. And be sure to check out the other fantastic shows on the Rad Dad Network. All the links we talked about today. WEAMS, helmets to hard hats, veterans and piping are in the show notes below. I'm Dennis Truska. This is Check 6 Radio. Stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and watch your six. I'm out.